When man asketh of thee, Where am I when death taketh me? Say thou to him, Thy light of birth is mirrored by thy light of death at the moment of thy birth, at the moment of thy death. Both are one, even though they mirror each other from far ends of cycles, until their interchangings void each other in their constant interpassings. My light of love expresseth my givings to earth's, and earth mirroring of my love is earth's regivings to me. Behold thou my sons, they are my universe, record of my thinking. I give them my light through the power of my desire to express my light in form. In each sphere of my thought recorded knowing is the seed of all form which manifesteth my knowing. Tell thou to man who weepeth at death, that I, the Father of man, give naught to him but love. For man and I are one, and I am love. For behold, I give generating light to sons, to simulate my life in them. And sons mirror their light to earth, as death to born earth forms of clay, with their radiating mirrorings. In this wise is death in sons, reborn as life in earths, and death in earths is likewise reborn as life in sons. Thus is my law of opposites fulfilled. For again I say, life giveth to death, that death may die, and death regiveth to life, that life may live. All opposites of my cyclic thinking forever interchange with each, that each may be what the other was, sequentially. In this wise my light generateth life, which radiateth as death, to again generate life in countless cycles of givings and regivings without end. And again I say, that both life and death of formed clay are but seeming. For clay is naught but clay, and cannot live nor die. For life of man is life of me, and I die not, nor doth man die. When man knoweth me in him as light of me, then is he as unchanging as I, his father-mother, am unchanging. While man thinketh of man as man-formed clay, then is he but man-formed clay, which returneth to earth as formless clay. Wherefore I say, man must be born again, and yet again, rejoicing at my givings. Likewise he must come to rest in me again and yet again, rejoicing at his regivings to me of countless deaths of man-formed clay, for reborning into man-formed clay. And now shall a new unfoldment come to man, who shall arise from the clay of him into my kingdom of light in my high heavens. I, the Father of man, await man's ending of his own agony, for man hath not yet known rest nor love, for he hath not yet known me. Again I say, I am the God of love. Many have been my messengers to man, who have given words of love to man for his unfolding. But man hath placed man alone within the circle of my love, and shut out all others of my children, of earths and sons. Say thou to man, my love extendeth equally to all my creating things, for all creating things manifest me purposefully, even as man manifesteth me purposefully. The pulse beat of man, the tiger in the jungle, the insect under rotting bark of tree, the elephant and the winged creatures of the skies, and countless fishes of the sea, are one. All pulse with the pulsing waves of my universal thinking, which imagineth all things as one whole ideal, manifested by an unfolding, refolding, extensions of my knowing. Say also thou to man who thinketh of his heartbeat as his own, alone, unbound to all things else, that all creeping things unfold with the pulse beat of my cyclic thinking. As my thinking is universal, so likewise is my pulse beat universal. And furthermore I say that every blade of grass and leaf of oak in mighty forests pulseth with the heartbeat of man and all things else, yea, even down to microcosmic cells of forming things of earth and sea and sky. For even the most minute of these pulse with the electric waves of my cyclic thinking, as the mightiest of stars in my heavens likewise pulse. For I, God of light, thy Father, Mother, God of love, am the one whole. From me all unfolding, refolding things extend, and to me they return for re-extension. Glorify thou me, the one whom I am, for I am all, and no other is. I, the undivided, sexless one, am unity. What I am, thou art, for thou art me. Glorify thou thyself, for in so doing thou art glorifying me. I, the one whole, am knowing mind. My thinking is expressed in light waves of my knowing, but my thinking is not me. I am creator, creating with my thinking. Out of my light of knowing, my two lights of thinking are born as sex pairs of opposites, for repetition as sex pairs of opposites. Knowing, lost my place. Mind thinketh alone what mind knoweth. Mind existeth to think, knowing, into forms of mind imagining. To think is to create. I create with light. Nothing is which is not light. I, with man, am creating man in my image. What I am, man is. I am light, man is light. I think, and all things in my universe appear in the image of my thinking. I think man, and man appeareth in the image of my thinking. Man thinketh man, and man appeareth in the image of man's thinking. Man's thinking is my thinking. Man's knowing is my knowing. I think ideal. The light of my knowing registereth my ideal in the two sex lights of my thinking, and form is born in the image of my thinking. Form has no existence, nor have my imaginings. These exist not, for they are not me. I alone exist, I, the all. I create my imaged body with the inbreathing of my pulsing universe of me. Likewise, I void it with my outbreathing to again create it. My universe is my image, but my image is not me. All things are created in my image, but they are not me, even though I am in them and they in me. All things come and go from my divided thinking. All things go from very heart of me into my imaged universe, and when they disappear from there, I also take them back to very heart of me. Know thou that all creating things are resurrected things, again manifesting life of me through my divided thinking. Man divideth his thinking in manifesting me. The body of man sleepeth, that it may awaken in me to manifest me. The body of man dieth, that it may be resurrected in me to manifest me. The body of man disappeareth, that it may reappear to manifest me. Man who sleeps or dies or disappears is but man's image, for self of man sleeps not nor disappears, for self of man is me. Again I say that I am one, and man is one in me when he knoweth that I am he. When formed clay of man is ready to know man in him as light of love, then am I there for him to know man in him as love. I am as the silent harp of many strings is to man who heareth not the rhythms of beauty in the silence of the unsounding harp. Man may as well deny the harp, which he cannot hear with ears of earth, as to deny me because he cannot see me, nor hear my voice. Man forgetteth that the sounds of his voice which others hear are not his knowing. They but express his silent knowing in words which they can hear. But the sounds of words which emanate from him are not his knowing, nor are they him. Likewise, sounds which springeth from the silence of my knowing throughout my universe are not my knowing, nor are they me. They are the voice of my electric body, whispering to man of my still light from which they sprang. Why then doth man believe on man, whom he cannot see nor hear save through the clayed form of his electric body and its varied sounds, and believe not upon me, whose universal voice he heareth in wind and wave, and in whisperings of my body's earths and suns? Yea, and he can see my electric body as plainly as he seeth man's. Verily I say, man is not now so bound to body sensing as in the early days of his unfolding. Man alone of all my creating things has begun to hear my whisperings. Since his beginning my still small voice has whispered within him that I am he and he me. But even now barbaric man in his small new world heareth dully, and maketh idols which he treasureth before me. For he is still new, he is still but in the ferment of his early brewing. For I say that all things which flow from life of me have life of me flowing through them, even to the least of these. But I say that even though my light of immortal life floweth through those mortal symbols of my thinking, it does not touch them in its passing. When they shall know the light of me in them, then shall they be me and I them. When they shall know light and love as one, they shall then know that love in them is the still fulcrum of their power to express love through sensed action. Their sensed actions shall then be balanced in the silence and the stillness of the light, which is their fulcrum. From the fulcrum of my still light of knowing, man must extend his power for imaging and for giving form to his imagings, even as I, creator of all, likewise extend my power of knowing through the level of my thinking to give form to my imaginings. Wherefore I say to thee, exalt thou thyself beyond thy sensing. Know me as fulcrum of thy thinking. Be me as deep well of thy knowing. For I say that man, who senseth but clay of earth in him, is bound to earth as clayed image of his earth. Clayed images of my imagining, who know not me in them, are but dwellers of earth's dark. To sensed man the doors of my kingdom are self-barred by darkness, until the light of me in him is known by him as me. Until then he is but moving clay, manifesting not me in him, while sensing naught but moving clay of him, knowing not the glory of my light in him.